Poking fun at the religious is fun and all, but there are some real stakes involved that sometimes we kind of forget about. This time out, a crazy Baptist preacher thinks atheists are fools while revealing himself to be nothing but an absurd hypocrite. These people don't pay attention to the words coming out of their own mouths. It's really quite ridiculous. So let's go take a look. I purposely try not to address the fire and brimstone lunatic fanatics around here very often. I have in the past, and I don't know that it really accomplishes a whole lot, except allowing us to point and laugh. But every once in a while, I want to put one out there so that we can remember that as inoffensive as people like Frank Turek and Andy Bannister tend to be, there really are a lot of crazy preachers behind the scenes, and they are, at least potentially, dangerous. So let's go take a look at Joe Shelley from Stedfast Baptist Church as he educates us on how hazardous ignorance can be and why nobody ought to pay attention to a single word they have to say.
You have all these wicked scientists, Stephen Hawking, and is he even still alive or is he dead?
If you ever wanted to know just how out of touch these idiot preachers are, there's your evidence. Stephen Hawking died almost 2 years ago, and this moron apparently doesn't know it. Apparently, he was evil because he doesn't agree with numbnuts here. All the evidence in the world doesn't make a difference if it hurts these pathetic, irrational children's feelings. But sure, call us fools. What a maroon.
I'll rip on him anyway. Stephen Hawking, Richard Dawkins, all these wicked atheist fools, right? They all pretty much come to America and they want to spread their filth.
What do you mean, came here? Oh, right, it's just a bunch of filthy foreigners that spread this atheism garbage, right? Of course, you have to remember who we're talking about. This is Stedfast Baptist Church, the hate mongers who celebrated the Pulse nightclub massacre just before their pastor resigned over having hired prostitutes. So then this guy gets brought in to replace him, and he's an even bigger jackass. This guy is a follower of Steven Anderson, that racist lunatic out at Faithful Word Baptist Church in Tempe, Arizona. We're all unfortunately familiar with that asshole. The whole of the Steadfast brand has been tarnished with infighting, of which this guy has been heavily involved, financial fraud, and general sniping on YouTube. It's really been quite the circus. And this jerk thinks he has the right to call scientists evil after being involved in all of that. Sure, pal. Tell us another one.
Or they're from America and they want to spread their filth everywhere. You think about all the science books that schools use, it all has evolution, atheism, all stems from America. So not only do we spread sodomy and all this wicked sin and perverseness, but we want to spread atheism.
So, wait, let me get this straight. Now America is evil? Make up your mind. Of course, that would assume he had one in the first place, which I think you only have to watch 1 or 2 of his sermons to figure out that he doesn't. Baptists are the crazy racist cousins that nobody wants to talk about in the Christian cosmos. And you noticed how many Baptists we look at on this channel, right? The fine folks at STR, Frank Turek, and William Lane Craig, to name but a few. Now, people like Stephen Anderson and Jonathan Shelley here, they go completely off the rails. They're too extreme for even the crazy Baptists to handle most of the time. And as I noted in the comments of this video over on his channel, there's nobody posting in the comments on YouTube in support of any of this nonsense. It's only atheists pointing out just how stupid it is. You figure it out.
We want to spread evolution. We want to spread the Big Bang. And these wicked, evil scientists, these fools, these atheists, they target innocent children with their atheism.
Yeah, says the representative of a religion that spends all of their time targeting innocent children. That whole childhood indoctrination thing. There's a difference between education, teaching demonstrable facts and the evidence for them, and indoctrination, which the dictionary defines as the process of teaching a person or group to accept a set of beliefs uncritically. I'm not at all surprised this guy hasn't got a clue.
They want innocent children to not believe in God, to reject God, and grow up and be reprobates like they are.
No, we want innocent children to know the facts. Whether they choose to believe in a God, that's entirely up to them. We just want them to do it in an informed manner based on evidence, not emotion. Now, of course, that means that very few children will ever adopt the immature beliefs of their parents because religion has no evidence and it is based entirely on emotion. Just like racism and gay hating and all the things that the Baptists believe. I'm absolutely happy to stop innocent children from becoming hate-filled bigots just like this jackass. Anyone here want to disagree? Anyone rational, I mean.
This one guy here, his name is Lawrence Krauss. Lawrence Krauss, I don't know if you've heard of him. Let me read to you a little bit about this fool, Lawrence Krauss. You say, well, why do you call him fool? Well, the Bible says the fool had said in his heart, there is no God. The Bible says that they are corrupt, they have done abominable works.
Okay, let's play Bible tag, Pastor. 1 John 4:20, and I'll stick to the King James because that's what these idiots get off on. But it says, if a man say, I love God, and hateth his brother, he is a liar. For he that loveth not his brother, whom he hath seen, how can he love God, whom he hath not seen? Or how about Mark 7:6, which says, he answered and said unto them, well hath Isaiah prophesied for you hypocrites, as it was written, these people honoreth me with their lips, but their heart is far from me. Or then again, you can go look at Matthew 6:1, which reads, take heed that ye do not your alms before men to be seen of them, otherwise ye have no reward of your Father which is in heaven. I'm sorry, but this guy is a complete hypocrite. He runs around screaming about others while paying absolutely no attention to his own very clear wrongdoings. Why anyone out there pays any attention to him, I don't know. All right, this is a guy with a tiny congregation that meets in a tiny building. Nobody listens to him now.
So the one that says there's no God, they're corrupt. They're abomination unto God.
That literally makes no sense. Of course, you'd have to understand what you're talking about in order to get the irony. Nobody is saying that there is no God. They're saying that there's no reason to think that there is. And that much is absolutely true. You religious wingnuts have done a singularly terrible job backing up any of your religious claims. So why should we care if you claim that we're an abomination unto God if you can't even prove that God is real in the first place? It's like, whoosh.
This Lawrence Maxwell Krauss, he was born in May 27, 1954, is an American-Canadian theoretical physicist and cosmologist who previously taught at Arizona State University, Yale University, and Case Western Reserve University. An atheist, Krauss seeks to reduce the influence of what he regards as superstition and religious dogma in popular culture.
All of which is perfectly fine. I mean, you seek to increase those things. That's why you're making a fool of yourself on a stage every single Sunday. He simply disagrees with you, and honestly, he has a point. You believe in things for which you have no good reason, and far too many of your pastors think screwing kids is a good thing. I mean, seriously, Baptists have an abysmal track record, nearly as bad as the Catholics. Worse by some metrics when you think about it. But no, you don't want to talk about that part, do you? You'd rather go off on atheists who aren't constantly being watched by the authorities.
So not only is this guy just an atheist and he just minds his own business and he just goes about his life and just doesn't believe in God, but it says that he seeks to reduce the influence of basically the Bible.
Says the guy who actively tries to convert people to his religion. That's bald hypocrisy. The atheist has to keep quiet, but you're the one on a stage. We don't get to exercise our right to free speech, but you think religion is a sacrament. Are you honestly listening to yourself? Signs point to no.
He's calling the Bible superstitious and it's just fairy tales. That's his goal in life. That's his desire in life. That's what he wants to accomplish in his life, is to reduce the Bible in the world.
Now, I went looking for a mission statement from Steadfast, and apparently they don't have one as such. Now, they do have a Fundamentals of Our Faith page, which is a hoot though, so you should go look at that. I'll link it below in the description. But it only takes a second to look in the Bible and see that Christians are commanded to spread the faith and convert the world, which again makes Pastor Shelley here a complete hypocrite. Because that's a surprise, right?
So that people would not believe in that superstition and fairy tales. That's his goal in life.
And considering just how much bloodshed has been caused over the Bible, I'd say it's a perfectly good goal. And the Bible is superstition. Let's look at the definition of that term. Superstition is excessively credulous belief and reverence for supernatural beings. That's the Bible. How about fairy tales? Those are a children's story about magical and imaginary beings and lands. Seriously, have you read the Bible? That's it in a nutshell. But then again, you people are just immature children who really can't tell the difference. It's like hearing, what? You mean Harry Potter isn't real? Heresy!
I mean, he's purposely living his life to defile the minds of children, to defile the minds of everyone, so that they won't believe in God, and instead believe in his garbage.
Says the guy standing on a stage wanting to defile the minds of children so that they'll believe in your garbage instead, right? You honestly can't make this stuff up. This guy is so utterly unaware of what he's doing, I don't know what to tell you. At least Lawrence Krauss isn't molesting kids, as opposed to Baptists who have had more than 250 clergy members or employees arrested in the past decade for sex crimes. And there are many, many, many more of them still out there.
And this guy Krauss is the author of several best-selling books, including The Physics of Star Trek. So that's one of his books, The Physics of Star Trek. I mean, you can tell this guy was just some nerdy little dweeb in high school and college, just watching too much Star Wars, watching too much Star Trek, because it's called theoretical physics. That's what he is. It's all theoretical. I mean, none of it is proven. There's no data. There's no facts. They just make up this stuff from watching too much Star Wars and too much Star Trek.
Yes, this guy is a complete moron, but is anyone really surprised? No, of course not. Theoretical physics is a branch of physics that employs mathematical models and abstractions of physical objects and systems to explain and predict natural phenomena. It helps to aim research into areas that have yet to be explored. Theoretical physicists have been responsible for the discovery of the Higgs boson at CERN in 2012. It predicted the accelerated expansion model of the universe. It predicted that neutrinos have mass, something that was confirmed in 1998. Currently, things like quantum computing and hadron therapy, which may be a new means for combating cancer, are being worked on based on the findings of theoretical physics. So tell us, Pastor, what have you ever done to demonstrably help the world? Krauss is the only physicist who has ever won awards from all 3 U.S. physics societies. What have you won, Pastor? What have you earned? What have you ever actually accomplished? I predict that's somewhere between, I don't know, Jack and shit.
I mean, literally, the book that he wrote is called The Physics of Star Trek. I mean, someone needs to tell him that Star Trek isn't real. It's not real, Lawrence Krauss. It's just made up.
Just like your faith. Okay, that was a cheap shot, but it had to be said. This is like some rabid Lord of the Rings fan criticizing Star Wars for being made up. It's just absurd.
And then another title of his book is called A Universe from Nothing.
Yeah, you should read it. Of course, you'd never do that because you're not concerned with reality. You're too busy stuffing your face in that book of ancient mythology that you follow.
A universe from nothing. So this idiot, this fool, this wicked, evil atheist reprobate believes that the whole universe came from nothing.
You mean like you do? Because the Bible teaches that God created everything out of nothing. Seriously, how can you be so blind? You believe that your imaginary friend zippity-doo-dah'd the universe from nowhere, just poof, and there it was, and then you criticize someone who explains what actually happened along with all of the evidence for it because it happens to leave out your invisible bestest buddy. What are you, stupid? Wait a minute, don't answer that.
Just everything came from nothing. How does that even work? How does that make sense? You know, we believe in the beginning God created the heaven and the earth. He believes in the beginning nothing created the heaven and earth. That's what he believes.
Because that's what the evidence points to. No God required, no God in evidence, no reason to think that God exists at all. Now, I'm sorry if that hurts your feelings, but too bad. Reality is what reality is, and the evidence points to what the evidence points to. The fact that you're too emotionally immature to deal with that, that's not my fault. It's yours. Maybe you ought to do something about that.
But you know what? That shouldn't shock us because the Bible says in Romans 1 how they became vain in their imagination. How they held the truth of God, they turned the truth of God into a lie, and they worshiped the creature more than the creator who's blessed forever, and they became vain in imagination. And then it says that God darkened their heart. Let me say something. Lawrence Krauss today, his heart is darkened. He's beyond the hope of salvation.
Salvation from what? Salvation by what? Because you people are really great at making a bunch of sweeping claims, but you're absolutely terrible about backing any of it up. You're much too busy being terrible, miserable, hate-filled bigots screaming at each other and molesting children. Sorry, that's not something we want to emulate. There is something severely wrong with you people, and you're too blind to see it. Because you don't care. Because you're only interested in how these ridiculous beliefs make you feel. You couldn't care less how absurdly irrational they actually are in reality. I try not to do a lot of these really terrible preachers, at least not that often, because sitting through their laughable rhetoric, it doesn't really teach us anything except how to be a moron. I don't think we need any more lessons on that. We get enough of it from the regular grade idiots that we look at around here. Every once in a while, though, I think it's worthwhile to let the ranting lunatics out of the box for a few minutes, just to let them remind us all why we don't pay any attention, why no one pays any attention, and then we need to stick them back in the box and back on the shelf until we start to forget just how crazy they actually are. Pastor Joe Shelley is a nutball. Worse, he's an ignorant nutball, but that's kind of Christianity by definition. He's never read anything by Krauss or Dawkins or anyone else. He doesn't care. It gets in the way of his wishful thinking. Who needs facts when you have faith, right? Well, here's the thing, Pastor. You need facts. If you had some, you probably wouldn't keep dancing around like a trained monkey on a stage every week. You probably wouldn't keep making a complete and utter fool of yourself. Or maybe you would. I don't know. Some people are just ignorant attention whores. And some people, well, they're just not that smart. Which one are you, Pastor? Which one are you?
bum.